I'll be with you in a moment. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, hi everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. How are you today? Hi neighbor. What's he doing? You doing something now? Every time I start to do something. Okay, let's see. Almost ready. Alrighty. I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? I am so ready for a bong hit. That was the story I was looking for. I had a Putin story somewhere, and I don't know what happened to it. That was a good story. That was the story I wanted to talk about, and I don't know what happened to it. What's up, JB? Okay, so we are here today. It is day number 1 of the Donald Trump impeachment trial. Woohoo! I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to think. It just, they let Barack Obama and George W. Bush get away with murder. Literally. Again and again and again. A million people murdered on their watch. Innocent people. With their fingerprint. With our fingerprint. In my name. And they want to impeach this guy. This is so bad for the Democrats. I just think they're trying to get him reelected. It really looks like that to me. Oh, we need to rally all the Trump supporters. Maybe they're a little wishy-washy right now. We need to make sure that they all rally around the president just before the election. Because that's the best plan we can come up with. We can't stand with somebody like Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard. That's just not who we are. People might get the wrong impression. We actually cared. Oh, ooh. Hello everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. I have been posting videos on the YouTube now for over 17 years. And now we're doing this live show nightly, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I hope you'll be sure and mark your calendars, because it's always better when you're here. So today, again, I have an Epstein video. I have Pelosi demanding more internet censorship, naturally. I have impeachment trial day 1. I have a fucking tiger video, and I have a mid-air plane emergency video, passenger airliner video. The people look pretty scared, but they're all okay. Don't worry. Just like I keep saying, we'll get through it. It'll be okay. It may not be what we all dreamed and hoped and prayed for, but it'll be okay. It will. I'm sure of it. And I'm ready for a bong hit. So, follow me and do exactly as you see. Woo! 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 Uh-oh. Oh, I have the do not disturb set on the phone, so it's off now. You'll have to call back. But I had the do not disturb set, so it wasn't ringing through. Now the do not, because I turn it off at night because people call in the middle of the night, and I don't want them waking up Craig in the middle of the night, so I push the do not disturb. So that so that people who are wanting to be harassive are not able. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mox, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing good. How about you, Chris?
I'm doing well. Enjoyed the break in the weather today. It was sunny in Olympia, so I was happy about that.
There was
The
some
rain
blue
was,
sky today that was looking pretty good.
I know, it was a reprieve from the rainy weather. So I didn't hear the very first part about the airplane. Was there an alert or a scare about an airliner this afternoon?
No, it happened last night, I think. Some kind of, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it looked like two planes became pretty close together over Southern California, I think.
Well, I found a couple of articles about that plane that was shot down over Iran.
Uh-huh.
And you had mentioned that it's possible that their missile defense system was hacked into.
Yeah.
And that might have been the problem.
Yeah.
And I did find a couple of articles that more or less said that that's a possibility, because apparently the operator on the ground, there was like a 2 or 3 minute period beforehand when he didn't see the plane on the screen, and then it appeared on the screen. And then also apparently the transponder of the plane that was in the sky stopped sending out a signal. So there were 2 or 3 things that happened that were anomalies that happened within that like 10 or 15 minute period of time.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the system that they were using, it was a Russian system, and that they had already they'd already had contingency plans on how to deal with this type of anti-ballistic missile system. And this article was from Global Research. I've referenced this before, but it's a Canadian website, .org. And they say the 2 missiles that brought the plane down came from a Russian-made system, the SA-15 by NATO, and called Tor by the Russians. Its 8 missiles are normally mounted on a tracked vehicle. The system includes radar to detect and track targets, as well as an independent launch system, which includes identification, friend or foe system, capable of reading all call signs and transponder signals. It's plausible to assume that something or someone deliberately interfered with both the Iranian air defenses and with the transponder on the airplane, possibly as part of an attempt to create an aviation accident. The United States Navy and Air Force reportedly have developed technologies that can fool enemy radar systems with false and deceptively moving targets. Fooling the system also means fooling the operator. The Guardian from the UK also reported independently how the U.S. military has long been developing systems that can, from a distance, alter the electronics and targeting of Iran's available missiles. And the other article I found, I won't reference it, but the other article I found basically said that the photographs or the video footage that was used by the New York Times was posted by anonymous folks that they posted that ended up being on CNN.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there were photographs that were posted on Instagram by this Instagram account called, like, Rich Kids in Iran. That's, like, the name of their Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow or another, they ended up being in a neighborhood, which was a lower class, kind of a working class Iranian neighborhood, with a video camera, like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something, very, within the next morning, and got a perfect photograph of this, like, one part of a missile that they sent to, like, the American media, and they immediately, posted it as evidence that it was an Iranian missile. And it seems kind of implausible that they were able to get there so quickly. So there's a lot of anomalies that kind of suggest maybe, the people in Iran who are resisting the regime are supported by the CIA, supported by the American government, may have had something to do with what happened. And also the coverage of how it was exposed to the U.S. public.
I just find it impossible to trust the mainstream media or the Pentagon when it comes to subjects like this, because they're just so full of shit. They're just not believable. They're just not trustworthy. So I immediately start looking for some other information and listening very closely to what's being said. And that was the first thing that popped out for me was, Russian hacking of the missile system.
If other listeners were curious, that was from Philip Giraldi, and he's a former CIA counterterrorism specialist, and that's what he writes about, is intelligence. And that was at Global Research. And the article is more extensive than that. I did see something weird today that, I really don't see this, right? And that is the story about Emily Ray Stollard in Florida. Did you see that one?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. So this is from Heavy, which is, they amalgamate news. And apparently Emily Ray Stollard built a homemade bomb inside a Walmart and was seconds away from setting it off before a security guard and off-duty officer stopped her. She was 37 years old, had a child with her at the time who helped her collect the items to build the device in the store, reported NBC out of Tampa. And she got these ingredients like nails and flammable material and a wick and a canning jar and was about ready to light the wick when she was the deputies took care of it from that point forward. And that was in Hillsborough County, Florida.
Huh. Well, that sounds pretty crazy. She's a keeper.
Definitely. Flammable items in a mason jar equipped with a shoelace as a wick with a lighter attempting to detonate a homemade device before the security guard and off-duty officer stopped her. It would be an interesting thing to see at the grocery store or whatever, at the store.
Well, somebody
look down the aisle and you see, somebody out of like, Rocky the Squirrel, Rocky the Flying, somebody lighting a bomb in the store.
So I'm telling you, somebody like that would truly come in handy. Those kind of skills are hard to find. Especially can go boom, boom, boom in a store and make it happen, and get the kids to help you do it. That's a talent. That's a talented young lady. And by the way, I love Rocky J. Squirrel. There's a new Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon on Prime, Amazon Prime Video. If you haven't seen it, there's 2 seasons of it.
I have not seen it. But I definitely enjoy Rocky Bullwinkle.
The
So
only thing that's missing from the show, honestly, it's a pretty good show, but they don't have the fractured fairy tales, it really, it's like if they had the fractured fairy tales, the show would be almost fucking perfect. So it's unfortunate that they left that out.
I liked the fractured fairy tales, and I can even that melody is still in my head. It'll be in my head until the day I die.
Yeah.
I could probably whistle it right now. But I bet that surveillance footage from Walmart is worth some money to a reality television show or a reality YouTube account. Somebody can get that footage out to the public, right, of this person making a bomb
Yeah.
in Walmart, frantically going back and forth from aisle to aisle and putting it together as he's about to light it. That's got to be worth some money to a producer somewhere in America. Definitely in America.
Yeah, that's a TV movie in the making right there.
It's already been produced. They just have to show the footage. It's like easy peasy. I wanted to share a couple of corrupt cop stories.
Okay.
Stop the drug war. And this is again related to about how police become corrupt when there's money and there's drugs involved, and it happens all the time. So this one is from Paterson, New Jersey. A Paterson police officer was arrested Tuesday in an ongoing corruption probe that scooped up 7 other Paterson police officers. Sergeant Chef participated in stealing money and drugs from suspects, along with other officers, and was charged in a case where police illegally searched a vehicle and arrested a man, went to his home, lied to his mother to gain consent for a search, found a safe with $2,700, took it, divided some of it up with other police officers. He's charged with conspiring to violate the civil rights of an individual and with falsifying corresponding police report, and that was from Paterson, New Jersey. That happened on Tuesday. Meanwhile,
Chris, can you imagine how upset you would be if some cops come and fucking fuck with your mom and lie to your mom and fucking just, bully your mom into your home? I mean, God, I would be fucking really, really upset that they were fucking with my mom, dude.
Ransacked the house,
yeah.
Stole the money.
Imagine how the mom would feel while all that shit was going on. She'd be like pulling her hair out.
Yeah, it would be horrible. But, civil asset forfeiture is something that happens every day, too. Somewhere in America, somebody is pulled over by a cop in a car, and just because they have some cash on them, the money is confiscated from them for really no reason. And that does happen in the United States. Not every place, but in some places it does.
Texas.
This was from New York. It says 6 Rikers Island prison guards were arrested Monday for allegedly smuggling drugs into jail. They were among 21 people indicted in a scheme to import and distribute marijuana, synthetic marijuana, and the narcotic Suboxone into jail facilities on the island since 2019. And so that's 6 prison guards at Rikers Island smuggling drugs, accepting bribes to allow contraband past security checkpoints.
Prison guards are like a gang, dude. They're fucked. They're more fucked up than cops.
Yeah, it just seems like there's about 3 or 4 other stories, but there's just this familiar pattern with the police and with prison guards. And even if you say, well, 95% of them are just doing their job and they're not corrupt, and I think that number might be a little generous. I think the corruption might be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the damage that those 5 or 10% or 20% of the prison guards and cops are inflicting on people is kind of over the top. And that's because of the money incentive and the illegality of drugs and how we treat plants in our culture. If somebody is withdrawing from heroin in a prison, why not let them have Suboxone so that they can stop using heroin and whatever, not use anymore? Seems like that would be a good thing. So if they have to smuggle Suboxone through a jail to get that medicine, that seems kind of strange to me. Doesn't seem like the system is working for anybody who might have a problem.
The system doesn't care about anybody, dude. It's not there to work for anyone except for rich people who make money off of fucking housing those fucking criminals.
Definitely. Other story I saw, and I don't know if you might have footage of this, but I just saw this late this afternoon. It said over 60 people were injured after a Boeing 777 dumps fuel on a suburb of Los Angeles, soaking 5 elementary schools.
Yeah, we played that story the last 2 nights on the show.
You did play that story.
Yeah, the last 2 nights we played video of that.
What was the story with that? Somebody made a mistake and they pressed the wrong lever and the airplane dropped this fuel?
It appears no, that the plane had to make an emergency landing, and that the pilot said that they weren't going to drop the fuel, and then they went ahead and dropped the fuel anyways, and I guess it scattered over like miles and miles of Los Angeles residential neighborhood.
Yeah, so, wonder what the liability is for that. Like, all the paint jobs that were destroyed, all the people who breathed the fumes for a few minutes, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there ought to be some kind of massive lawsuit there, huh?
There should be. The poll numbers, last one, the poll numbers, just ones that came out today, looking at the Real Clear Politics. It looks like Sanders jumped about 3 points in the last, this is today. When I looked at it this morning with the cumulative polling, it had Biden up by about a half a point. And with the new poll, it has Sanders up by 1.5 with cumulative polling. So that was after the debate yesterday or the day before yesterday. So whatever, good news for Bernie Sanders. Apparently Elizabeth Warren's tack didn't work very well. Looks like her number dropped.
Elizabeth Warren, I think she really hurt herself with this whole I've been victimized by Bernie Sanders. I mean, she doesn't, and it makes her look small and not strong. And again, and she said some shit that there's no way Bernie said that. Bernie didn't say a woman can't beat Trump. Bernie said, Elizabeth, you can't beat Trump. And she changed it into a woman because she's not willing to take responsibility for the fact that she no longer has the slightest bit of credibility standing on the same stage as Donald Trump.
I think she is backslided a little bit on her more progressive positions. Like I've said before, these candidates always move to the center.
Yeah, I don't think Bernie Sanders is going to move to the center, but
no.
But that's Elizabeth Warren is not a liberal. She's not a progressive. She's not a Democrat. She was a Republican, and then when she decided to become a politician, she saw that it would be much more advantageous to run as a Democrat. So she became a Democrat. She's not a Democrat. And not in the good way, like they say how Tulsi Gabbard is not a real Democrat, or Bernie Sanders in 2016, he's not a real Democrat. That's when they say not a real Democrat. That's different from what I'm saying. I'm telling you, she's not a liberal. She's not a Democrat.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. My metric has always been, and I'm a little worried about that, her backsliding in the support that she still garners inside of the party. Because, I always look at these numbers by looking at Sanders and Warren's numbers and combining them, to get an idea of like what their cumulative strength is. And right now in Iowa, it's like 36 for the team if you put them together. And then in New Hampshire, it's like 38. All right. And that both of those numbers are still below 40. But if you take Biden's number in Iowa, it's 20, and you add it with Buttigieg, it's 18, that's 38. And then likewise in New Hampshire, if you take Biden, it's 21, and Buttigieg's 14, it's 35. But all of the rest of the candidates are going to go to the right of the Democrat Party. In other words, like, I don't see anybody beyond Elizabeth Warren. And I know what you said about Tulsi Gabbard, and maybe she'll, have a surprise showing and make us all fools. And if that's happens, that's great. But absent those 5 points or so of Tulsi Gabbard's, I don't see Bernie Sanders gaining very much more than what he has right now. That most of the Democrat Party is going to be willing to support either Buttigieg, Biden, Warren, Bloomberg, Klobuchar, etc. I just don't see the cumulative strength from what I've witnessed so far, unless a bunch of independents flood the caucuses and the primaries.
I don't see any. I don't see any hope for these status quo candidates beating Donald Trump. You have to go with somebody who's an outside the box person, or because that's who he is, right? He's not coming at you with these canned, this is what Democrats say responses, this is what Republicans say responses. He's coming at you from every direction, and I just really think that Elizabeth Warren could not begin to handle him on the same stage. And I do think she's lost all credibility. If she stands on the same stage with him, she will look like the punchline of a joke, of a Donald Trump
As
joke,
will
which
Joe
is
Biden.
yeah.
Joe
Biden's going to look so much worse than that, though. Joe Biden's going to look like creepy Uncle Joe, and that's why Donald Trump and the mainstream media is pushing for Joe Biden, because they want Donald Trump to win. They really do. Okay, the media loves Donald Trump.
In corporate America, I mean, I think when I looked at the stock market, it's like 29,000 points. So it's up like 3,000 points. But a lot of that is because of the huge tax breaks that were given to the super rich last year, and it gave them a chance to invest in the stock market. But that doesn't necessarily translate into higher wages for working people, or better living conditions for working people. People making money on the stock market.
We were talking about the stock market last night. I mean, what percentage of Americans does that really affect? I mean, if the stock market is up 3,000 points, does that really affect your life, Chris?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying, though. But for the business class, from the managerial class's perspective, the people in the upper middle class who run this world, like our managers, they do have investments in the stock market. So it kind of buttresses your point, Mox, that the elites in the Democrat Party are satisfied with Trump, and all they have to do is pay a little bit of lip service, to their TDS that they're experiencing. But in reality, they're all making money off of the status quo.
Right, and they're making lots of money, and I think they have some kind of weird strategy, like that if Trump gets another 4 years, then that will almost assure that we get the Senate and we get the House and we get the White House, But I think that's just fucking horrible, short-sighted thinking, and that's like maybe, if you want to bet on something 4 years down the fucking road, give me a break.
I don't know what's going to happen in America in 4 years from now, but I know that if Trump is reelected, which is a possibility, that this whole thing about dynastic politics is not going away, and I can easily see someone like Chelsea Clinton or one of the Bush twins, or any kind of a whole slew of these children of politicians stepping into the fray for their moment to be like part of the dynasty. Ivanka Trump is a woman that I'm thinking who would be a good first woman president, don't you think? From the other side.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people talking to her about being, but see, the problem is these people all have these skeletons, and I know Donald Trump has these skeletons, and it's like it doesn't seem to have any effect on him, but I think it's different with people like Chelsea Clinton, or like they haven't really been trained to handle the heat. They've been protected from the heat, and if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, you wind up like Meghan Markle, and the whole fucking country now despises her because she can't handle the heat in the country. Oh, I'm gonna marry a royal and be a princess. Yeah, happy fucking fantasy world reaches reality world. I don't think a lot of people can handle that heat, and I seriously doubt Chelsea Clinton, or Ivanka Trump could even begin to handle the heat that we're talking about.
Because they just don't have the charismatic personality required.
Well, I think it's
Donald
because
Trump.
they haven't had to be actually genuinely challenged by people, right? See, Donald Trump has been challenged by everybody he comes across that's worthy of a challenge, able to get into his face and challenge him. They've challenged him. That's why he's coming through this shit so easily, like it's barely touching him, because it's always been this way. He's always had people challenging him and him having to fucking whatever. Okay, so now it's just
like the exact
but people like Ivanka
Joe
Trump and
Biden.
Chelsea Clinton have just had the red carpet rolled out for them, and they'll never. I mean, not that Donald Trump didn't start getting a $400,000 paycheck at age 3. But which makes a pretty nice carpet to roll out in front of you too. But I just don't think that there's this heat factor that I don't see Ivanka Trump or Chelsea Clinton for 1 second being able to handle. I could be wrong.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that in this culture of like celebrity politics and specifically dynastic politics, I totally see something like that. Being
said like the Bush
public.
twins. The Bush twins are fucking crazy party girls. Ivanka Trump. Again, I think she's just the daddy's girl who's been protected her whole life, and Chelsea Clinton's just been given every fucking gold pass key she could possibly get.
How about Dick Cheney's daughter?
Dick Cheney's daughter is a giant piece of shit who belongs in prison with Dick Cheney.
I agree. Well, she could run for president again, maybe. And she could run for president. It's the same kind of concept.
I hope she runs for president, because the more people talking about her, the more she's at the microphone, the more obvious it becomes that all she cares about is getting more war. Spreading war across the fucking globe. That is her primary objective, and because of that, she's a giant piece of shit who the world will be a better place without. End of story.
Well, it's going to happen. It happens to everybody, but it's going to happen to Liz Cheney too. There was a lot of brouhaha about Jeff Bezos being such a great man for giving $1 million to fight the Australian fires. He donated $1 million.
I heard it was 600 and some thousand. I heard it was 600 and some thousand.
It's $1 million Australian dollars is 690,000 US dollars.
Gotcha.
It was $1 million Australian dollars.
Yeah.
But to put it in the context, this over at Mint News, they put it in the context of like an ordinary person, and it works out to be like 3 minutes or something of his time. And it says, for Bezos, who became the world's first centi-billionaire in 2018, the amount, 1 million Australian dollars, represents a very small contribution to an urgent catastrophe affecting an entire continent. He earns more than 230,000 American dollars every minute. Considering these figures, the 690,000 US dollar donation represents just 3 minutes of income for the business media magnate. As a comparison, somebody who earned $500 per week made an announcement on social media that they had just donated 5 cents to help tackle the blazes, because that is what they would earn on average every 3 minutes. So that's an interesting. When I read that, I thought that's an interesting way of showing like how undemocratic capitalism actually is as a system. Because it isn't really every single person has the same voice. But one person can have the voice of like, what is 500 into 690,000? See what I'm saying?
I hear you. I think
350,000, 350 people. There's nothing free or democratic about that. Seems the person with the most money always has the biggest voice, and therefore this concept of like representative democracy is an illusion until you have some kind of equity in terms of people's resources.
I agree. I mean, when you say equity, you mean like a universal basic income or something?
Yeah, like a base level and some kind of a cap, so that a person just can't go over a certain amount without just giving it back. So, you know that canard, I worked real hard to get what I got. I hear that all the time. But with that canard, you could say to the person, well, you made enough to make it, and everything over that, you'll get like points on your Facebook page for. So you can tell the whole world how ambitious you were in your life. But it doesn't really mean anything beyond those points on the Facebook page.
I think I don't know about I mean I don't know about capping people's wealth. I don't think that we need that people. I don't see how somebody needs $100 billion. Okay, but I don't want to tell somebody that they didn't. I don't know.
I think Eisenhower's top income tax bracket was over 90% in like 1955. And there still were plutocrats.
Well, there you go. If you want to tax, income over $50 million at a 75% rate or something, that makes sense, I guess.
Right. So why would you be adverse to like just saying there's a cap, like you can't have more than $5 million in your bank account? But I mean, that's quite a bit of money,
Just a sec.
Yeah. I'm going to join you.
I think some things cost more than $5 million.
Yeah, but if nobody had more than $5 million, I think that would kind of change the game.
Well, then there wouldn't. Who's going to buy Da Vinci paintings and stuff like that?
They'd be on public display in free museums. So
well, that would be. I think that's where they belong too. I think that I don't understand why things like that are being treated like they should be owned by people. But my first thought was like a Bugatti. Who's going to be able to buy a Bugatti if they can only have $5 million in their bank account? And then there would be no more Bugattis, and that would be a terrible thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you couldn't have Bugattis, but how about in exchange for luxury Italian sports cars, everybody has a simple means of transportation that they can afford, so that everybody has their needs met instead of a few people having their luxuries met or their desires, their dreams.
I like the idea of that a lot. See, I hate the way it's divided now. Okay, the way it's divided now is the haves and the have-nots. That's what it is. I mean, we all, and if you don't know that, then you're buying into some kind of false reality, because the people who they have everything, and nothing touches them, and it's not right. So I think that I understand the idea of a more equal society, but I don't want to. I don't want to squash creativity at all. And I worry about somehow caps would be some type of a squashing of creativity, like they're not being Bugattis anymore. A Bugatti is a work of art, and I understand. I get it. I mean, I'm never going to drive one, and I understand. But
there's this concept of a workers' cooperative. All right. I mean, workers can have control over their production, collectively, and you can create a lot of creative things in that way without having like a private proprietor overseeing the small shop. I mean, when you think of the idea of socialism or communism, it doesn't necessarily mean that like the state is dictating that to this. It's a very big misconception about what cooperative organizations are about, which is giving a lot of different people input and trusting other people's input. And there are examples of successful workers' co-ops in the United States and in Europe. So Bugatti could be owned by the workers and be just as innovative. I think that's a bullshit argument, and I don't really see any proof that like capitalism is more innovative. All it seems to do is create exploitation and great inequities of wealth.
Well, I think it does more than that, but I think that it also
Greed as an incentive.
I think that the first thing that it does is it scoops all the natural resources of wherever, all of our natural resources, the people's natural resources, it scoops them all to the 1%, and then they dole them back out to us, an ounce or a gallon at a time, and that's a real problem with capitalism. That somehow, to act like that this guy owns the land, so he now owns the oil that's underneath the land. I just don't think that's right. I mean, that oil belongs to the whole community, and everybody needs that. If we actually need oil, and because it's been scooped to the 1%, now they have this death fucking grasp over humanity, saying no, you can't move into a 21st century infrastructure because that would involve alternative technologies beside fossil fuels. So we don't want that. So you can't have it. So it's I understand the evils that exist, and the for-profit prisons and the fucking wars.
Corporate, the food, the mass-produced food.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical companies, right? We're
industry,
fucked the way things are.
The military-industrial complex, the banks, the insurance companies, the power brokers in our culture, the political parties, the large political parties. Definitely, they're all complicit.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to leave it at that. I appreciate your thoughts and reflections about like how we need to have some control over our natural resources. But I think that when the people ultimately take over this government, or this government falls through a series of crises or whatnot, that what will replace it is like a completely different form of distribution that isn't going to be contingent on like this manufacturing and mass consumer society. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for, because that's about the only thing I see that, government falls, new system evolves. That's going to really solve the problem that we're experiencing. So I just try to look at different alternatives. Workers' co-ops is one solution that people are trying to say, like in the status quo, like right now, people can use workers' co-ops as a way to raise consciousness about, people having income equitably distributed amongst each other, instead of like LLCs and I got my company and I'm marching along and I did it from, instead of that, it's like we built this together and isn't it great? And we all contribute to make this thing work. And I think that's kind of interesting.
I think that's I think it'd be great if we can head that direction, dude. I really do. I think that
I agree.
I think it would lift an awful lot of people up out of poverty to much, if not the whole failing middle class, lift it up and give it an actual fair shot at being at having a life, and maybe
Right.
even a one income family. Who knows?
That's what that professor, his name is Richard Wolff with 2 F's. He has a website called Democracy at Work, and he's a socialist professor at New York University, but he's very much all over the web. But that's what he advocates for, is for worker-owned cooperatives as a way for people to kind of generate their own income instead of give the profits from their labor to a single person. That's what he's kind of all about. But I want to listen to the other calls because I'm excited to listen to the other calls. And I want to thank you for your show. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to listen the last day or two.
It's all good. I hope everything is good where you are. And thanks a lot for calling, because we miss you when you're not calling. So,
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And have a good program. I'll talk to you later.
Okay,
Bye.
Chris. Thanks for calling. See ya. Let's see. Okay, the do not disturb is off. So if you want to call, now's the chance. The lines are open. Operators are standing by. Our buddy from Olympia, Chris, he always has something uh, valuable to add to the show. We very much appreciate his work. So Nancy Pelosi is calling for more internet censorship and trying to shame Facebook into, limiting people's free speech. You guys want to see that clip? I will play it for you now.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Facebook is using shameful and abusive business practices in order to make money, and she's calling that company out.
They don't care about the impact on children. They don't care about truth. They don't care about where this is all coming from. And they have said, even if they know it's not true, they will print it.
Speaker Pelosi says Facebook executives schmoozed the administration and Congress in order to get tax cuts and prevent antitrust action. Facebook has an office in San Francisco, which is in Pelosi's congressional district. Up next, what President Trump is accused of doing to pressure European allies to pressure Iran. First, beyond our borders tonight, a roadside bomb struck a car with Afghan government employees in southern Zabul province today. Officials say the driver and 4 passengers were killed. No one immediately claimed responsibility for that attack in Afghanistan. The provincial police spokesman accuses the Taliban of placing a mine on the road where that car was hit. A Philippine volcano erupted last weekend, belched smaller plumes of ash today, but is still rocking the area with frequent earthquakes. Authorities are blocking access to nearby towns due to fears of bigger eruption. The death toll from a massive explosion and fire at a petrochemical plant in Spain has climbed to 3. Authorities say 1 person died in a hospital. Another body was found in the wreckage. Another 7 people were injured in that blast.
So I also have a clip about Jeffrey Epstein, and I have impeachment trial day 1 clip to get everybody caught up to speed. If you want to see impeachment trial day 1, I have a fucking tiger clip. And then I have the plane emergency. So that's what I have lined up for the next hour or so. If you guys want to see any of those, let me know. We can do them anytime. They're ready to go. I got it all spooled up. And the phone number is 805-669-6397. Or you can call 805 Mox News. Both of those rings to this lovely phone here, and then we can get this party started. Or I can play another clip. You want to see another clip? You want to see the Epstein clip, or you want to see the impeachment trial day 1, or have you had enough impeachment news? You had enough impeachment news? Or should we play the fucking tiger clip? Fucking tiger. Fucking tiger! You see that the bird was like, fucking tiger! What? Fucking tiger? What? Ah! Tiger? What? No, I don't see a tiger. What are you talking about? So, fucking tiger! I gotta say, zoo scare. The tiger, it was terrifying. The tiger almost got me. Hey, there we have a phone caller. Should we take the phone caller? Okay. Let's find out who this is. Hello, caller.
Michael, this is Steve McClennan.
Steve, are you still knee deep in it?
Michael, I am hanging out in England. The Queen's asleep. She's passed out. It's 3:47 in the morning here.
Oh, huh.
So, yeah, it's late. I'm in my robe. Oh, my God. And slippers, Michael. It's amazing. The toilets here are made of pure gold. It's insanity, Michael.
That sounds better than Iraq.
I tell you what, Michael, I'm never going back. I'm never going back to that place ever again in my life. I've been there twice.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan, Steve. I would stick with that if I was you.
I might stay here in England. I might just stay here. You know, me and the Queen, we've been hitting it off like, oh my God. We talked about a lot of things, me and the Queen. And we were playing polo today out there in the courtyard. Oh my gosh, Michael, it's been amazing. Biscuits everywhere. Just biscuits, tea. The tea is disgusting, but I love it. I love it. We're keeping a positive attitude over here in England, Michael. I may never come back. I don't know. Because, you know, things with me and the Queen are getting kind of serious, Michael.
Oh, well,
I mean, I'll never kiss and tell, Michael.
Steve.
I will not kiss and tell, Michael. But, exclusive, Steve McClanahan and the Queen are getting kind of serious right now.
Congratulations, Steve. Good score, man. You're like
I tell you what, Michael. I tell you what, I can't believe it. I can't even believe it on myself. But I can. I can absolutely believe it because I am a hunk. I'm a stud, and I'm a badass motherfucking journalist, okay? I'm a hardcore, dedicated journalist. I bring the real reports. You know, I'm out here on the ground. Boots are on the ground. You know, we didn't... Michael.
Yes, Steve.
We didn't just get lucky, Michael, is what I'm trying to say.
It sounded like you got lucky,
All right,
Steve.
Michael, I got to go. It's really late here, and I need to eat a couple more biscuits. I might call you back. I don't know.
All right. Ask for the
I'm just
Nutella.
flipping through my phone and shit.
Tell them you want Nutella for your biscuits.
Just backsliding down the downstairs rails and shit. I tell you what, I'm kind of bored, actually. Everybody has this weird-ass fucking accent and shit, and they're all fucking... they don't really want to talk about anything. You know, there are a lot of angry people here, too, I tell you what. But I told the Queen I don't want to have nothing to do with those people, and that she needs to keep them away from me.
Everywhere you go, people are angry, Steve. Everywhere you go, people are angry.
Michael.
Angry
everywhere.
People.
It's insanity, Michael. It's breaking news. Everywhere you go, there's somebody going to be angry.
You'll go out?
And
what's out there?
Everywhere you go, for sure, Steve.
Snow?
Oh, bullshit, Michael. Everywhere you go.
Uber, your favorite.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure there's angry people wherever you go as well. You ever go to Walmart? You ever go to fucking Walmart? There's a lot of angry people at Walmart, Michael.
I don't know when the last time I went to a Walmart.
There's no fucking Walmarts over here in England, Michael.
Well, then they shouldn't be angry, huh?
Right. But they're all angry because Prince Harry, and that's where the Queen, she's all bummed out. And, you know, they're all angry. They're like, what the fuck? How could you? How could you? How could you do this to her family? How could you do this? They're devastated, Michael. But you know what? I'm saving fucking day right now. You know, really being a real support system for the Queen. That's what I'm trying to do, Michael. Keeping a positive attitude. We're changing the world. You know. Michael, I was talking about to the Queen. You know, the people over here in America are trying to like take over the governments and fucking eliminated all the parties. I tell you what, Michael, she busted a gut so bad I couldn't even believe she'd never heard anything so funny in her entire life. I tell you what.
Well, I would imagine she would like that.
Yeah, she thought it was hilarious. She thought it was completely hilarious how people want to take over the government and eliminate the two parties.
All the parties.
With no real, and because she asked me, well, how are they going to do that? And I'm like, I'm really not sure. So I haven't figured that part out yet. Nobody has. Oh, and then I said, yeah, with the peaceful resolution, you know? And
with the constitutional amendment.
Oh no, we were supposed to get rid of the Constitution. I thought we're supposed to get rid of the Constitution. We're ending the government.
No, the problem is that the people who are supposed to be representing us
and then we're
are
creating
doing
a
their
new party
best
called the
to
BYOB
get rid of the
party,
Constitution
Michael.
instead of
Jesus Christ, Michael.
practicing their oath that they took, their sacred vow to protect it.
Well, I tell you what, Michael. This constitutional amendment and peaceful resolution deal sounds like a really great idea, but the queen, she is not really feeling it. She don't really care because she's the queen, honestly. I just was trying to tell you what she thought, Michael. And I don't really have nothing to do over here in fucking England right now, you know. There's a big game getting ready to hit in America on Sunday. I'm over here in fucking England. What am I doing over here? Jesus Christ, Michael.
It sounded like you were living it up to me, Steve.
To America to try to continue to take over the fucking government, Michael. That's what I need to do. I need to be back there in America, taking over the fucking government with you and all the Mox News listeners. We're getting out there.
Steve,
you've government, Michael.
You've worked so hard, and you finally found a nice, soft place to crash. Why don't you just relax and take it easy for a little bit, Steve?
Michael, because I'm getting bored over here in fucking England.
Yeah, that's the problem with going into a fucking war, Steve. And then everywhere you go now, it's not a war anymore, so it's not exciting anymore. Okay? I told you going to Iraq was a bad idea. Now all you want to do is get back to Iraq.
Michael, I don't want to go back to fucking Iraq, Michael.
But you can't help yourself, can you?
I will stay here in fucking England then, Michael, if that's what you want. If that's what you want,
I want you to relax and take it easy, Steve. That's what I want. I really want you just to relax. When you called, you sound relaxed. You sound appreciative of what you had going on. And then all of a sudden it turns around and everything's fucked again. I just want you to be happy, Steve. I just want you to be happy,
Michael.
Steve. That's all. I want you to be happy.
I don't know if I could be happy here with the Queen in England. I mean, I'm really having second thoughts about this whole
Sounds
thing.
pretty cushy, man.
You know? I mean, it's cushy, you know, but I tell you what, there's news out there that needs to be reported on, Michael, and I'm a journalist.
Like a football game? Are you kidding me? Like
there's
a football
game? I need to go cover the sports news, Michael, this Sunday. I need to fucking be there in America. God damn it, Michael. I'm going to ask the Queen if she'd just fucking send me on a private jet and fucking call me some tickets. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, Steve, you do what you need to do, buckaroo.
Well, you do it. Because we're doing it. We're doing it live. America, whether you like it or not. Michael, I got to go.
It's pronounced America.
It's America, Michael. Get it right. God damn it.
America.
Michael, stop it. Get it right. It's America.
America.
It's America. It's America.
America.
God damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's America. Don't listen to fucking Michael. I swear to God. Oh, God, he's got bad grammar. He's got really bad grammar. All right, Michael, I got to go.
Hey, Steve, I'm glad you found somewhere soft to land.
All right, well, thank you, Michael. Thank you. I'm really glad that you're really concerned. Yes. All right. I appreciate your sincerity, Michael. Okay?
Talk to you soon.
10-4 over and out.
Yeah. That's Steve McClanahan calling from, did he say Buckingham Castle? Is that what he said? I don't know. Somewhere in Great Britain, apparently, where the Queen's boudoir exists. I'm not sure where that is. Nor do I want to know. Let's see. Okay, so I have a Jeffrey Epstein video. Are you ready to see a Jeffrey Epstein video? I will play the Jeffrey Epstein video now.
We are learning new details tonight about what authorities say was an intricate human trafficking operation run by the late financier and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Correspondent Brian Yennis has details tonight from New York.
The conduct of Jeffrey Epstein and his associates shocks the conscience.
The U.S. Virgin Islands' newly filed civil lawsuit against Jeffrey Epstein's estate reveals stunning new accusations that Epstein trafficked and sexually abused girls as young as 11 and 12 years old and as recently as 2018. The suit claims Epstein held his victims captive on his private island, and when a 15-year-old attempted to escape by swimming away, quote, Epstein and others organized a search party that located her and kept her captive by, among other things, confiscating her passport. Prosecutors say he kept a computerized database of underage girls. He'd coerced them to travel, promising modeling opportunities, but once on his island, Epstein stripped them of their phones, threatening violence if they did not do sexual acts. Epstein also allegedly used LLCs, shell companies, to discreetly buy Little St. James Island, where he had his home, and later neighboring Great St. James Island, paying $86 million to ensure complete seclusion. The only way to his home was by private boat or helicopter from nearby St. Thomas.
The government of the Virgin Islands seeks to extinguish and recoup any and all financial and other benefits that flowed to Epstein and his associates.
This as renowned pathologist Dr. Michael Bodden, hired by Epstein's brother Mark, continues to make the case that Epstein was murdered and did not kill himself.
There's been a total lack of transparency in what happened to Epstein.
Prosecutors in the Virgin Islands claim Epstein illegally transferred millions of dollars into a trust days before his death in an attempt to shield his $577 million estate from accusers. Brett?
Brian, thank you. Up next.
So the Dr. Oz pathologist is now on the Epstein didn't kill himself boat, which is I mean, again, I don't think people like that kill themselves. I think somebody who has a story like his to tell and knows that the whole world is waiting to hear it doesn't kill themselves. They have too many cards to play left in their hand, you know, so it doesn't make sense. And you know, I mean, I can imagine it would be really, really difficult being in a jail cell, you know, but he just doesn't come across as the kind that would kill himself, you know, especially after you see that island. Oh my God, you see the pictures of that island? I was like, holy shit, that looks nice. I mean, I'm not a sun guy, but you know, imagine, you know, having a place like that and fucking wild parties. That guy that guy, he didn't kill himself. He did not kill himself. He wanted to get back to his wild parties. They said he transferred his money somehow, his assets. They said illegally in that story, but that he transferred his assets somewhere days before he died. So, you know, I mean, to his other secret identity that the jailers were going to let him out and ship him off to live his new life as whatever his secret identity, his other secret identity is, right? I mean, that's the way it seems to be. It just doesn't make sense that this guy would kill himself. The coroners are saying he didn't kill himself, you know, although they are examining something. I don't think he's dead either, Wilco. So, and then I have the impeachment trial day one. You guys want to see impeachment trial? I don't know if you've seen enough impeachment video today already. This is this video. It catches you up as to what has happened so far today. At day one of the Donald John Trump impeachment trial in the Senate. And then there's also an explanation of what to expect as as the trial unfolds, and so what to expect over the next couple of days or weeks. If you'd like to see that video, I'll play it for you. But if you've had enough impeachment news already, I don't need to play it. And then I have a mid-air plane emergency where two passenger jets seem to come very, very close together. I believe it's over LA. I'm not positive. Okay, so, or I was working very late. I don't know if you guys saw my unboxing video that I did for my for my fans, for my ventilation system, for my grow tent setup, right? Me and Rufus yesterday made an unboxing video, and we unboxed a ventilation system, carbon filter, and a fan, inline fan, and then we installed it in the grow tent with ducting and everything to pump it out. So we got the tents are ready, right? I just have to put dirt in the bags and put seeds in the dirt. So I'm gonna do that. That's my next thing that I have to do. I have dirt, I have bags, I have seeds, I have everything. I got it all. I got bags, I got seeds, I got dirt, I got it all. And I got ventilation system, which I thought it was a good video. Rufus looks adorable in the video, and oh, here it is right here if you want to see it. So we did that yesterday, but I was up until like 6 a.m. in the morning getting that video uploaded and published and edited and rendered and all that. It was a couple hour edit or so. Because it was a little bit complicated because one of the tracks, like I recorded one track here sitting at this desk, and then I had a camera here, and when I began to talk to this camera, the microphone was not turned on, so I recorded all this stuff that was like showing the web pages, and all that. And oh, we have an anonymous caller. Hello, caller.
You just got shit on, you fucking little faggot nigger.
I feel sorry for those people, right? I mean, that's just sad, right? It's so much anger. Can you hear the anger, right? I hope that you could hear it. I had the microphone turned down because Steve McClanahan talks very loud, and Craig keeps telling me to turn the microphone down when Steve McClanahan calls, but then I forget to turn shit back up. So, hope you got to hear that, because I'm not going to repeat what they said, but I found it to be sad. I feel bad for you. I hope that you feel better soon. I mean, I hope that your mommy or your daddy gives you the attention that you desire, that you deserve, and that you find your way. I know it's a scary world. It'll be okay. Just don't be so afraid, and walk with your head held high, and don't think badly of others, because oh, we got another anonymous call.
Oops, your caller just hung up. Goodbye.
They hung up. Don't think badly of others, because it shows, it doesn't really say anything about the others, right? It shows something inside of you. feel bad. It's like I feel bad for that person. You can hear that person is in pain. That person's lashing out. I mean, maybe they think this is going to be entertaining or something, but it's clearly they're doing it because they hurt. They want to lash out on somebody, and they can't lash out at their dad, or they can't lash out at their mom or their big brother or whatever it is. So, or their teacher or whoever it is to tell them that they're the boss of them. Okay? Just be strong and we'll get through it, man. Just be strong. Ooh, anonymous called again. Want to see? Okay, I have the microphone turned up now. Hello, caller.
Hello. I will suck your dick for 5 cents, nigger.
That was pretty good. I gotta find one of those soundboards. I have some stuff I want to type in. Oh, look, another caller.
Just wanted to take this call.
Hello, caller. Caller?
Hi. Do you guys have any toilet paper? Toilet paper. I need some right now.
You do that voice so well.
Oh, well, I'm just asking you to bring some over.
That voice is truly scary.
Wait, this isn't Ronnie?
Ronnie?
Oh, Lord, I am so sorry. It's just I haven't spoken to anyone in such a long time. Please stay on the line with me. I don't want to lose anyone else. Ever since my husband passed away, it's just so hard.
It's a never-ending tragedy. I feel for you.
What did you say?
Life is a never-ending tragedy. What?
Why would you say that to an old lady?
Life is it's the truth. Old lady, if you're an old lady, you would know that is the truth of life. Life is a never-ending tragedy.
Can you at least tell me a story or a funny joke? I haven't laughed in years.
Okay, these two guys are eating lunch.
Please.
These two old guys are eating lunch on a park bench, right?
You've just been pranked by prankdial.com.
Wow. So good at that. Whatever. You guys want to hear a joke? Okay, these two old guys are sitting on a park bench, right? And they're eating lunch, and this dog comes up and sits down next to him, right? And the dog puts his head down, and the dog starts licking on his nuts, right? Licking his own balls. And the one guy looks at the other guy, and he says, "Man, I wish I could do that." And the guy says, "Maybe you should pet him first." Love that joke. That's the only joke that I know. That is the only joke. I imagine I know other jokes, but it's like the only one that I can like properly lay out for some reason. Oh, I turned on the do not disturb so I could finish my joke. Okay. Oh, look, we have a call from Anonymous. Hello, caller. Hello, caller? Oh, and they hung up. Maybe they think that I'm afraid of them. Well, I'm not. You keep calling. You call all you want. I have no problem with you. You're the one with the problem. It's unfortunate. You'll get through it. But, you know, the disrespecting of other people, it just says something about you. So we're clear. Hello, caller.
Donald Trump's gonna die, nigger.
And they hang up. And I don't like it. We have to be careful about what we say about the president because the Secret Service will come to your door and have a discussion with you if you make a lot of public statements like that, I think. So I would be careful with that kind of talk. So you know. Other than that, more power to you. So I don't know. Did you guys say, do you want to see impeachment or do you want to see no? It's an anonymous person. Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I just wanted to let you know that I got really scared of the government. They can come bust down my door. Like, do you think I give two shits? Like, really? Like, what the fuck do you think I'm talking about? Like, the Secret Service is gonna knock on my door. I'll fucking kick their nuts out, you fucking little faggot. I'll kick your nuts out too, nigger boy. Fuck you and fuck your mother in the ass, bitch.
Again, angry. I don't know. Being so young and being so angry seems very dangerous. And I hope that it turns out good for you, but I would really try and find another path because the anger will not serve you well in the long run. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this a national profanity and fornication hotline?
And defecation, public defecation. Don't forget the public defecation part.
Can I have the public defecation department, please? Can you transfer me?
Steve is in England right now. We'll have to get to you when he gets back. Would you like me to take your number?
Yeah. Can he send me some of the Queen's glitter-covered poop, please, with no charge?
Oh, I don't know. We don't want to be sending stuff like that through the mail. We don't want to.
It's not a secret. Everyone knows that the Queen poops glitter, shiny glitter poopy poop.
Okay. I would think that everyone knows the Queen doesn't poop.
Well, maybe. Do you have Prince Albert in a can?
No.
Is this National Insanity Night by chance?
I don't know. Is it a full moon or something?
Sure feels like it over here in Bali. I'm in Bali.
Well, nice. You know, the thing about Bali is they fucking kill you if they catch you with marijuana, or they lock you up for life.
But homosexuality is free because our king is a homosexual, so I frequently fall into liaisons with tall, tan, dark men with big lips and soft voices.
Well, everybody's got their type.
You ain't even fucking listening to me. You're sitting up there doing something on your fucking screen.
What is he?
I'm trying to be comedic. Best I know how. Just got out of bed. I want some glitter-covered poop, Mike.
I don't want any poop. Thank you. No poop.
I was actually laying in bed. I was going, man, when is he going to get a fucking decent caller? Please, Dwayne, call in, Dwayne. Everybody wants Dwayne. But no, what do you get? Nigger fucking poop prick motherfucking.
Dwayne was like talking about how he was going to be the first caller every show now too. So
yeah, what happened? He must have. Maybe his wife talked him out of it or something.
Maybe he fell asleep early.
Yeah. I miss Dwayne. He's such a racist, bigot, homophobe. I'm so fond of him, but he's actually better than that little chick from Chicago who's probably your anonymous caller, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. That person wasn't calling anonymous before, and I think that there's that person. I mean, that person had things that they attempted to talk about. This person isn't attempting to talk about anything.
Well, the old woman had an actually very convincing voice. That was pretty impressive.
It was some kind of a soundboard or something, I think. They're like, oh, you've been pranked by blah, 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 right? So I think that might have been some kind of a fucking recorded thing or something that they push buttons.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could turn on my amp and fucking run my voice through one of their patches and come out talk to you like a monster. You want to hear that? No, I don't want to do that. I'll save that for my Mox News special Mox News song.
Okay. That sounds pretty good. I like that. You do that good, man. You practice Tibetan chants, or?
Yeah, it's what do they call that? Throat singing, I think is what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah. You practice that?
I've only there's some cultures that can do 3 sounds at once. I think the pygmies can do 3 sounds at once, and the Tibetans can only do 2. You didn't know that, did? That's a little obscure fact. I bet Craig or Wokel knows that. You know, pygmies can actually do throat singing that has 3 voices coming out of their throat, and Tibetans are fucking restricted, like morons, you know.
Yeah, like morons. Like the morons, like the mental midgets that they are.
Right. So I'm doing absolutely nothing. I'm trying to get out of my massive depression.
Well, maybe doing absolutely nothing might not be the best way to get out of your massive depression. You ever think of that?
What the fuck?
I'm pretty sure if you were talking to someone about your massive depression, they would say that's not a good plan.
If you say so. I don't know. Sometimes you just need to take a break, you know.
Oh, I
lay
know.
down, listen to some trolls on the YouTube. Call up, make fun of my friend Mike up in Seattle.
Taking a break is a good thing. Taking a break is a good thing, but you know, not doing anything. I think that there's nothing wrong with not doing anything either. But I think that there's just, you know, you're just, there's more to, you know, you and what it is that you want to really be making happen. It's not that. Look, it's that if you're actually fighting some kind of a massive depression, I think the best way to fight it is to be out and making things happen. I think, you know, being locked up or alone is not a way to fix your depression. So, you know.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
You're making me feel bad, Mike.
Well, I worry if you're saying that if you actually have a massive depression, that's horrible, dude. I mean,
you wound me, Mike. You wound me.
You seem like you have a better life than that going on, that you shouldn't be so massively depressed. I worry. There's a lot of people that are people are fucking killing themselves, dude. You know, I don't.
I'm not that way.
Yeah.
I'm more of like the kind of guy that kills his family.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not that way.
It doesn't accomplish anything to kill yourself. It really doesn't. I mean, I actually look at suicide like a gift from God. It's like a back door. If shit gets too fucking hot, you can always run out the back door. But like, you know, if you get stuck in some fucking South American prison where you get ass raped 12 times a day, you know.
I got caught in a bear trap once. I had to chew my own arm off just to be free.
Yeah, well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
But I'm still here, alive and kicking, waving my stump around.
I bet you wave your stump around.
I just cut off my head one time. I couldn't eat for a week. It was hard, man.
Not being able to eat sucks.
Yeah, couldn't swallow anything for a fucking week.
Well, what's the weather like where you're at?
It's just starting to rain.
Huh.
Just a little bit. Supposed to rain hard tonight. No snow. You probably still got snow, right?
I think the snow's going to be gone tomorrow, but we had snow today. I mean, not dropping snow, but it was still on the front yard and stuff. But I think it'll be gone tomorrow. It's going to warm up. It's warming up here. It's going to be like in the 40s tomorrow.
Oh, that's warm. Okay. That's cold for me. Because I'm a swinging hip dude in Southern California, and we got the world's best weather and best people in the world and the best politicians and the hot chicks and rock and roll bands and live at the Whiskey a Go-Go.
You know, the hottest chicks I've ever seen in my life were at LAX airport on Christmas Eve. Just like one model after another fucking walking by. Just like, what is happening? Oh my God.
Do you know why? Because LA is an international city and people come to LA from everywhere, and there's a reason they call them the Jet Set.
Mm.
And I actually, when I was 16, started working at LAX. That's where I started meeting all the movie stars and stuff. I worked at this company called Valet Air Park, and it was the premier high-class valet service where sometimes if the guy was important enough, you go pick him up in his own fucking car. And, you know, I met everybody fucking there. I met Timothy Leary. I met Jack LaLanne. I met fucking high-class business people. I met all kinds of actors, blues players, rock and roll, Jaco Pastorius. Did I tell you my Jaco Pastorius story? That must have been somebody else. But, yeah, I met Jaco Pastorius, right? And he pulled into the fucking lot, and he had this hot chick with him. And so, you know, I'm 16, and I get his bags out, and I put them in. We had 1976 Chevrolet station wagons where the back window would roll up into the roof, and the back door would roll down into the floor. So all at the push of a button. They were really cool, state-of-the-art, brand new fucking 76 station wagons. And so I threw his bags in the back, and we hopped in, and the chick was all like fucking, she was hot. She was a hot babe. And she was super nice, super nice, and she knew I was like checking her out. And I'm a young kid, 16, and so I take. I can't remember if I picked up Jaco's guitar case and threw it in the back, or maybe he did it himself. I said, "You play guitar? You in a band?" "I'm in a band, man." So and I had no fucking idea who the guy was. He's like, "Do you know who Jaco Pastorius was, Michael?"
No, I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's the world's most famous bass player of the time. He played with Joni Mitchell and all the jazz bands, and he made anybody listening who knows music knows Jaco Pastorius. He was in Weather Report, that band Weather Report. So he's the hottest bass player in the world. But he ended up getting beat up in the New York nightclub by a bouncer, and he died. I don't know what year it was, but I met him in '76. And I had no idea who he was, and I was in a punk band, and I go, "You're in a band? I'm in a band too, man." And he like fucking frowned at me, and yeah, right. And so I take him to this airline. I don't remember what airline, and the chick was really nice and really sweet and really beautiful and mellow and sexy, and goddamn, she was hot. And Jaco was yelling at me, going, "Stop! Stop!" You know, he keeps yelling and yelling, and I wasn't stopping fast enough for him or something. It's like, God, he's all control freak. And so, you know, the guy was addicted to cocaine, and he was practically insane, and he would go off on people, and he had no emotional control. And so years later, about 1981, I got married, and my wife was the promoter for Northern California production company. I can't remember the name of the company, and she was going through her photo book, right? And she points to this guy, and she goes, "And this is Jaco Pastorius." And I go, "I know that guy. I met that guy, and I remembered him from fucking years before." And I remembered that I told him, "I'm in a band. Are you in a band, man?" So it's like, you know, I met all kinds of people, blues singers that would piss in the middle of the parking lot in front of fucking 15 people. They didn't give a fuck. You know, drunk people, people about to commit suicide. Fucking Jack LaLanne would come in every fucking week with a different fucking busty little blonde on, and he drove an Excalibur. I got all kinds of stories, but it was that working that job for about 3-4 years taught me two things. Number one, famous people are just like everybody else. And number two, cars, because I drove everything from Ferraris to Shelbys to Maseratis to Porsches to Excaliburs, every fucking car, including the cars that weren't out yet, we would get them a year early. And so it taught me that cars are really just machines to get from point A to point B. And I never in my life, once I left that job, did I ever have a nice car, because I'd already driven everything. And yeah, you're right. There's babes all over LAX, man. And at that time, LAX was a 1-story airport. And now it's 2-story, right? You got
it was a long time ago.
Yeah. So I've seen a million people at the airport, and there's babes all over LAX. If you want to do a sociology study, go to LAX and just walk around. Walk through all the terminals, 1 through 7, and look at the people.
And see how many TSA guards start following you.
Yeah, you'll actually get more TSA people in the international terminal than any other airlines, because that's where all the people come in from foreign countries, from China and Korea and fucking everywhere. That's the international terminal. And and to me, the most beautiful stewardesses aren't even the American stewardess. You want to see some hot fucking stewardess at Korean Airlines, man. It's like they're models and they're babes, and they're just impeccable. I can't believe how beautiful they are. And they specifically choose the most beautiful Korean women to be stewardesses.
The Asian airlines seem to have some pretty amazing looking women.
So you were at LAX on Christmas Eve at some time?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was probably like 1980 or something.
Yeah, that was about the time I left, yeah. So, it was my job as a young man to get the movie stars to their flights on time, and I knew every shortcut, every route. I knew how to cut through fucking traffic, and I made tips, baby. $20 tip was not unusual for getting a movie star to his fucking plane on time, and
that used to be a lot of money.
It still is. I mean, that's just one tip during your day. Jesus Christ, you add those up, it adds up. And of course, at that time, you didn't have to report your fucking tips. I think waitresses now have to report their fucking tips.
Yeah, well, they get charged a percentage of the sales that they make.
Which is, and that is a prime example of how Uncle Sam wants to stick his motherfucking fingers in everybody's pie and take their little bit. And I don't know if anybody's ever had any run-ins with the IRS, but the IRS will audit you, and the strategy for beating the IRS is realizing that it costs them $250 an hour to fuck with you, so you waste as much of their time and you present yourself as poor as you possibly can, even with bad credit and shabby surroundings, if they happen to come out to your house. And you'll beat them, because once you waste enough of their money, and the rich people beat them by doing the same thing, just by wasting their time. And they're a bunch of heartless fucking robots. In a way, they're the money police, whereas the police enforce these bogus laws, and you weren't wearing your seatbelt, sir, or you crossed a double yellow line, sir, or you didn't turn your turn signal on, sir, or they'll break your taillight and say your taillight's not working, sir, or you were driving with your brights on. Whatever they can fucking come up with. Do you have a double permit and insurance for the Ishkabobulator? It's like the cops don't even care. They don't even know the fucking law. If they can invent a law to write you a ticket, they'll do it. But the IRS is the money police. It's like, do you have receipts for that toilet paper you bought in 1977? It's like, I'm sorry, I lost my receipt for toilet paper in 1977. Please take me to jail. It's like the fucking government and the slaves who serve the fucking government just want to rob you. So become a pirate. Stick your finger in every motherfucker's eye that wants to fuck with you. Or your thumb is even better. Grow your thumbnails like me. I got thumbnails as long as Satan's, and I stick them right in those people's fucking eyes. You're not going to get my money, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Michael, have you had a bong hit today?
No, not yet. I'm drinking coffee. I just got out of bed. Am I okay? Am I okay, Mike? Am I alive?
I think you should have a puff, dude. That's all.
Okay. So, yeah, man, I had unusual upbringings. I was up. I think I'm a weird dude because I grew up in a dysfunctional Catholic Italian family. By the age of 11, I was outside the church smoking crack with Satan, so that was kind of unusual. By 16, I was in a punk rock band, and then I met a bunch of famous people, and I had wild and crazy time in Hollywood and South Bay. And then I came up here and I was a steel worker. And then I became a bricklayer and I started studying Hinduism. So I'm like a Hindu punk rocker, actually. Those are my two big influences. And I don't know. And, you know, I'm like a cowboy. On a steel horse I ride. I'm wanted. Dead or alive. Maybe I should have a bong hit, Mike.
I would highly recommend that. And to each and every one of you, I would highly recommend it to you too, because it makes everything so much easier. You've been rubbing that oil on your feet again, haven't you?
Yeah, and then I picked my nose. Is that okay?
You do what you want to do.
On my nose. No, but I'm doing good. I calling in cured me from my depression.
Good.
But I just wanted to save you from all the trolls because, you know, the nigger bitch pussy motherfucker that don't fly with me, Sugar Cups, you know. I know where you live, Sugar Cups. I'm going to get off this phone now, Sugar Cups. You call up and you fuck with my man Mike. I'll find you. I have a special set of skills, and I'll find you, and I'll kill you.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later, Mike.
Okay, Michael. It's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling. And that's Michael. He needs a bong hit. And so does everyone else. So please go ahead and take this moment to light your torches and heat up your bowls and drop a little dab in there and say, thank you, Mother Nature. I love you so much. Follow me and do exactly as you see. So let's see. I think we will go ahead and we'll show this plane emergency video while I heat up my bong.
Now to the mid-air emergency just after takeoff from Newark Airport. A United Airlines flight bound for L.A. The loud bangs, the cabin shaking, and then flames shooting from the engine. David Curley covers aviation.
The frightening flames right outside the United jetliner soon after takeoff from Newark. Passengers could also hear and feel the trouble coming from the engine.
Suddenly it felt like you were being shot at. It was like pow, 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 pow.
There were 4 or 5 of the loudest bangs I had ever heard.
Loud, shaking, whole plane.
The pilots of the 757 with 174 on board quickly decided to turn around.
We just may have had a compressor stall on the right engine here. We have declared an emergency.
What the pilots described is a compressor stall. In essence, a jet engine backfiring, which is alarming.
It was very scary. Even the flight attendants, you can see when they're nervous.
Come on.
Nerve-wracking indeed, as we've seen in previous cases, like this 777 flight back in November, a father catching the compressor stall and his young daughter's reaction. The Newark to Los Angeles flight did land safely, with United only confirming that it was an engine issue. David?
All right, David, thank you. When we come back.
Almost the right amount of time. And that needs to cool now. Now it's too hot. I hate using the torch. You gotta get it too hot, and then you gotta let it cool, and it seems like just an expenditure of unnecessary energy. But I can't find, unless I get, I haven't found anything besides this type of a rig that gives you the puff that like is you get a puff and you're like, nice, you know. Okay, and I have one more clip. If you guys want to see the impeachment clip, impeachment trial day 1 of John Trump, I will play that. It explains basically what happened today, and it starts off with a local news clip explaining what to expect over the next few days or few weeks. So all right, I'm going to take this bong hit, and then I'm going to play the impeachment clip. Oh man, that was a good pup. In the middle of that pup, I got all these electric tingles. Electric tingles. That's going to be the name of my first strain. Electric tingles. I like it. All right, I'm going to play the impeachment clip. And I will be... Okay, this is impeachment trial day 1. Right, which one's that? 3. Okay, played that, and I will be right back.
The Senate formally began the impeachment trial today, but the heart of it doesn't really start until next week. Now, there are a lot of questions about what happens then. KIRO 7's Washington correspondent Blair Miller lays out what to expect and why the trial will look much different than what we saw in the previous hearings.
The Senate trial won't have the dramatic questioning or posturing from politicians. We were given the list of rules and procedures, and when we went through it, we quickly noticed the trial will be very controlled in many ways.
And now the ball is in the court of the Senate.
And that ball will gain momentum on Tuesday. Expect to see the opening arguments like any trial. The House managers and White House lawyers will make their case uninterrupted, laying out reasons why the president should or shouldn't be removed from office. That could go for days. Then we move to questioning. Senators aren't allowed to talk during the proceedings, and they can't bring in cell phones. They have to submit questions through the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. After questions, a motion to dismiss the case could come. If it passes, the trial would be over. 2/3 of the Senate would have to agree to that. But some Republican senators on the fence could reject the dismissal. And if it hits the next phase, senators then must decide on witnesses.
I'd like there to be witnesses and be able to hear from someone like John Bolton.
And if that happens, the trial could continue for weeks. After all the testimony, closing arguments for one day, followed by deliberations. In the Clinton impeachment trial, each senator was allowed 15 minutes to speak. And if President Trump gets a similar trial as Clinton's, we're looking at mid-February until it's over. The Senate will also go through a bunch of rules next week that basically lay out how much time to spend on each phase. In Washington, D.C., I'm Blair Miller, KIRO 7 News.
We begin tonight with the solemn turn on the Hill today. The Senate impeachment trial is here, and that